So I was living in a city in America, and I'm a country person. I love being in rural areas, and I was really struggling to find a home in the city. So I thought, all right, I have to figure out, should I stay in the city where I had a great job, or should I quit my job and move? And I couldn't figure out how to make that decision. So a friend, Steve Coughlin, a great poet, came up and said, you know what you should do? You should write a book about looking for Edward Abbey's hidden desert grave. And what happened when Abbey died, his friends took him out into the desert, dug a hole and buried him in it, and no one knew where that grave was. And I loved that idea, and then I thought what I would do is add to it and track down who Edward Abbey was. He was a man who was always searching for home, see what I could learn about home from him. So I wrote the book as a way to figure out what to do with my life. And by the end, I went searching for his grave, but I also quit my job and left the city and moved to Vermont, where my wife, daughter, and I now live. So it changed my entire life. And in terms of nature and place, my mom taught me to love the environment, to love nature. I grew up on a river. So this was a continuation of what my mother had taught me. And it was a chance to visit some of the most beautiful deserts of the American Southwest. And just reconnect me, as always, with place. To me, what I love about going anywhere is learning about that place, just like being in Keral here, learning about the people in place here. Yeah, so to me, nature writing can maybe be laid over top of anything else, or it can be everything else. So the way I like to explain it is, wherever you're from, it helps create you. So if I was born here, I would be a completely different human. I could be the exact same, but the place is like a parent. It shapes who we are and it creates who we are. So for me, the nature writing goes right on top of really every book written, whether it's written in a city or a suburb or the country, whether it's written in America or India. All writing is nature writing. For me, this was an exploration of where I should live and who I am. It was also biography about Edward Abbey, and it was also a travelogue as I was traveling, but it all takes place somewhere. So for me, all writing is nature writing. I focused a lot on place because I love place. So for me, storytelling is something that has been around since humanity began. And it's been around because humans want to survive. And I think a lot of the things we do go back to survival. So we would put artwork on cave walls, and that artwork might say, here is water, or there is a dangerous animal. And we did that because that was our way of conveying. And then we told oral stories, as Mary Chamberlain is talking about right now. Krishna, who was presenting here, he's taking scientific research and transforming it into journalism. And what all that's trying to do is share stories. Why? Again, to survive. So what does storytelling have to do with environmentalism? If we have this data, but no one knows how to access it, that data can only go so far. The scientists may understand it, but the role of the environmentalist or the environmental writer is to take the information that others have come up with and then share it with the rest of the people and try to stir their hearts. If I can make you care about a place, I can make you save that place. That's a great question and a big question, how that all comes together. I think for me, it comes together in kind of like a jigsaw puzzle way. I'll just be living in the world and I'll read an article and I'll learn something and I'll be like, that's cool and that's interesting and I don't know what to do with it yet. And then I'll hear or read something else and they'll come together. So with Kant, my best friend John Hausdorfer, he's a philosopher and he taught me all about Kant. So if I got it wrong, it's not his fault, it's all my fault. But I learned about that and I was like, okay, so we have the real world and then we have the world as seen inside of our head through our senses, and it's a distorted world. So your view of the world, we could stand and look at the exact same thing and we see different things. Why does that matter? And I couldn't figure it out. But then when I was looking at some of the neuro and cognitive science that I'd found in other research, I was like, oh, a lot of this connects together, at least in ways that I see. So what I try to do is put these little pieces all together to try to figure out how my world works, how story works, how I can share ways to build better stories for my students. So I hope that answers your question, but I'm just trying to piece things together to make sense of my world. Well, I already told you this inside on our walk out. I've gone to many writing conferences and festivals, and this is my favorite one. I love a lot of different things about it. Number one, the array of writers that I'm meeting, both from India and international, is amazing. I've met more international writers here than maybe everywhere else combined. Writers from Hong Kong and Malaysia and Nigeria and Egypt and onward. So that has been amazing. And then I'm looking around at just a sea of readers and writers who love literature. And I've had multiple people come up and just shake my hand, and I have no idea how they know who the heck I am. But it's just like these people love literature in the same way I do, and there's not a lot of places where that happens. And then outside of this festival, I walk down the streets, and anytime I look at a person and smile, I get this glowing smile back. The people of Kerala might be the nicest people I've met in the world. So this place has been very special. I leave tonight, and I don't want to go.